and then we hit the ground running on the topic. And just before I do the introduction, just let me let you know that you can prompt somebody who isn't listening yet or watching this cast yet to just go ahead and do that, as we'll be discussing something so important about your mental health, about suicide prevention, and something that will definitely benefit you 360 degrees. My guest today has more than 20 years has worked more than 20 years as a change agent in the non and for-profit sectors. And she's the co-founder of FC&C and a successful executive coach who develops strategies for professional and organizational level. She's a graduate of the University of Glasgow with MS in leadership and management, with an emphasis in organizational development, BS in organizational management. Whether as director of development for the city of Fontana, COO of a change management consulting firm, director of Drucker School, Global Family Business Institute, or co-founder of 3 coaching and consulting startups, she has found that identifying foundational process and systemic resources is the key to success for any organization or team. My guest today is someone with 2 texts, and I am happy to have. And I said, wow, we've got to do this on my show. And here she is on the MHAASP show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the MHAASP show. No other about Kathleen Fariss. Good to have you.
Hello, Kunle. So happy to be here. What a beautiful introduction. Way too much, but I'm here because this subject hits home for me, and mental health and leadership is so important. So thank you so much for having me on the show today. I look forward to talking about this subject and figuring out how we can share with others how we show up every day, and then how we help leaders become the best version of themselves. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah, Coach Kat, as we call you, it's such a great pleasure to have you.
I love it. I love it. Makes me smile.
Okay, now let's hit the ground running right now. And let's start by making people understand the role that mental health plays in leadership.
Yeah, I think it's a really, sometimes it's a taboo subject, because as leaders, when leaders' minds get so full of things, trying to figure out how do we ask for support. So it depends. How were they brought up? How did they develop their own skills? Because what happens is, as a leader, when your mind gets so full, how do you ground yourself to make any decisions at all? So when your mind gets so full from lots of things, anxiety, depression, you have so much pressure. And if you were brought up in a way, for example, to think and not feel like I was, how can you all of a sudden say, oh, I need support, I need help, I need to lead through my team? Again, I used to say to some of my colleagues and even our employees, the healthiest version of me is I'm Martin Luther King. That's how I manifest. And the unhealthy version of me, as I would say, is General Patton. So as leaders, kind of sitting in who we are and recognizing who we are and learning to get out of our own way. And the byproduct of that is we help everyone around us. Because if we don't learn to get out of our own way, the manifestation of that, it kind of trickles down into our staff and our community as a whole. So really, learning to be vulnerable and saying, okay, even though I might not have been brought up that way, for lots of reasons, I absolutely need to develop my own leadership skills and recognize turning the mirror on myself and saying, hey, I'm not perfect. I'm broken. I need some support. What does that look like? And then getting that support we need.
That's absolutely wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. And I mean, you know how important this is, just like you said. And somehow in our world today, it is taken with a pinch of salt. So why do you think people take mental health issue, I mean, as regards leadership and the so-called followers? I think we're kind of having a delay. Okay.
Yeah, just a little bit of a delay. That's okay, because you know what? As leaders and on the show, we have to take a little bit of a breath and figure out how we can respond back and manage in the moment. And I think that's a really great example. You know, you said why do leaders take it with a pinch of salt? I think, again, it goes back to how did they become a leader? Were they promoted from within? Were they all of a sudden say, congratulations, you know, you're in charge of all of these humans, and jump in the swimming pool and learn how to swim, which is some of the advice I got in the past, instead of, hey, here's here's what it means to be a leader. Let's look at who you are as a leader, and let's help you become the best version of yourself to lead everyone around you. And again, depending on how you were raised, your culture, right? Things in the United States are different than, say, Japan and Asia. God forbid, except that you don't know what you don't know. And so, you know, really saying, okay, I need to figure out what do I need as a leader, and I have to like turn the mirror on myself and figure out how am I showing up. And again, there's differences between gender and generations, right? Like some men may say, hey, you know, I can't be soft because that's viewed as weak. And women can't say, hey, I have to be soft because that could be viewed as weak. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, looking at how do you lead? Well, you got to lead from your heart and recognize that how you show up, you can either, and I used to say this with our team, is you can be a thermostat or a thermometer. Which do you want to be as a leader? Well, you want to learn to lead from your heart and as a whole human and bring the best version of yourself. So I feel like it's, again, it's people were brought up differently. They were promoted within. They didn't get potentially the leadership skills that they needed. And, being vulnerable and saying, hey, I don't know what I don't know, that's scary, because then that means there's work to do. Same with mental health. I mean, I can tell you there were times in my life where I was like, ooh, I cannot drive over any freeways, and I came back from that dark space. It wasn't easy, but I had to be vulnerable and say, here's what I need and here's what's going on inside my body, and that I was worthy, value, and enough. So I know that's a long-winded answer, but I'm really passionate about this subject. So
Don't touch the dial.
You're listening to the greatest radio station in the world, MZ Radio London.
It's all about kingdom business. Keep listening.
Yeah, sorry, I was off for a minute there. It was due to, network issue. This is how we have to live for a couple of, I don't know, maybe months now. So far so good. It's been good. So I'm back now. I didn't catch the later part of what you said, but yeah. But I know you have said a lot about how we should desist from taking mental health with a pinch of salt when it comes to leadership. Somehow it gets to a point whereby right at the top there, it feels lonely, and people think you are super beings, that you don't even need help.
yeah.
So I know you have a personal story when it comes to that you will share with us, but we're going to take a breather now. We're going to take a musical break, and when we come back, you're going to share the story. This is the song of a very good sister and a friend. Her name is Joy Saliu, and this song is titled Everything. We'll be back shortly.
I've searched all over, but I know fit find one person when to love me like you do, when fit do the things you do, in all day, in all day. Oh. Now you be my everything, oh God. Now you be my everything, oh God. Now you be my everything, oh God. Oh, now you be my everything, oh God. My joy, my peace, my life. Yes, you are, Lord. Yeah. My joy, my peace, you're my life. Now you be my everything. Now I've come to know that's no me without you. Even in the storm, you are there with me. Now I've come to know there's no me without you. Even in the now you be my everything, oh God.
Honestly, you lot. What are you putting into your bodies? Let me show you. Come on, hold tight. This is the amount of fat in that whole pizza. Yuck! There's 17 cubes of sugar in that fizzy drink. Too many hidden nasties can create dangerous levels of fat in your body that could lead to heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, cancer. Come on, let's get food smart. Here's our free meal mixer. It's packed with cheap and tasty everyday ideas. Nice.
Online 24/7, the online radio station for everyone at MZ Radio London.
MZ Radio London, Happy Radio UK, you're welcome back. It's still the MHAASP show with your boy, your man, KP. And I'm not alone in the building. I have Coach Kathleen Fariss with me, and we've been discussing mental health versus productivity and leadership. Just before we went on that break, I said, you're going to talk to us about your personal experience when it comes to managing your mental health when you're in leadership position, and how you were able to handle such situation at that moment.
Yeah, that's a really great question. You know, it's all about self-care. It's all about recognizing that no matter what the pressure comes at you, you have to have your own self-care regimen in place. And I'm sure I'm going to tell your listeners things that they already know, but it's really putting yourself first. We're Christians, so I can say obviously investing in your faith, but putting in a system in place that supports you. So for me, it was truly staying in community. It was mapping out how many touch points to stay in a healthy space I needed a week. So how many friends did I need to talk to? How many family members did I need to talk to? Being of service to others, because then again, it's that human connection with, you know, the energy that you're receiving and giving. Being kind to myself and setting healthy boundaries. Again, as I shared earlier in the show, I was raised by a military dad who also was a construction guy, and it was think, don't feel. And, you know, you work, and then whatever's left, you retire. And so I had to start learning to say no and evaluating what did that mean for my own life, to look at what intentional relationships I wanted to have, and also where could I be of service. And again, that big word NO was tough, but I had to start really looking at how to say no. And then a lot of education. I hired a coach. I paid for therapy. I think I've done quite a few things, but it really was like recognizing my energy and how I was showing up and where I was choosing to put my energy and getting out of my head. I mean, that is the biggest thing I would say. You know, I worked a lot with Christine Kawamura, who is a faculty member I met through the Drucker School, and she talks about the heart map, which is gently getting out of your head into your heart and showing up from a space of love. And so when we love ourselves, we can then pour into other people. But if our bucket's empty, you know, we go to that dark, scary place. And I think, I don't know if it cut out early in the show, but yeah, there was a time in my life I had to not drive over freeway overpasses. And coming back from that edge, yeah, that's hard. And it takes a lot of intentionality, inside out work to then dig deep to figure out. And my dad used to say, what comes around goes around and kicks you in the butt. And God says he keeps giving you the lesson until you learn it, right? Well, you got to figure out where that all comes from, because that impacts your mental health from a leadership ability to then lead through others, to lead your team, because then their work helps everyone around them and goes out into the world that adds to a functioning society. So helped me become the healthiest version of myself, be love and light, and not, you know, not be volcanic, because that's exactly what I shared earlier in the show. You know, it really is intentionally saying, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm worthy, I'm valued, and God doesn't make mistakes, and we all have value. So, you know, really living into my purpose, which is this, it's working with individuals. I'm really passionate about the mental health space, and, you know, just showing up for people and what they need, meeting them where they are.
Wow, that's absolutely fantastic. We have a couple of minutes to go, but I'm going to, I didn't prepare for this, but I watched a video you posted yesterday, that talks about I think it's about anxiety, and I want you to share it with people, how to get out of anxiety. Yeah. And I want you to share with people in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, we both laughed because my colleagues know I don't love videos. I'm learning, right? This is me learning and me being vulnerable, saying what, like Brene Brown says, the leader in vulnerability, got to embrace the suck, right? Yeah, so anxiety is a thing. And if you've never had anxiety, it takes your breath away. It makes you feel like you're going to throw up. And it's some of the techniques I've found helpful is small things like breathing, putting your feet on the ground and moving your toes. Because what that does is it grounds you in the now. The past is a guidepost. It's not an anchor to keep us stuck. And the future is not here now. So we got to like really stay in the moment. So I move my feet. I used to wear a mood ring. I had a squeezy ball, and the ongoing joke I shared yesterday was, this is a turtle. I kept saying to my friends, it's a frog. I know the listeners at home can't see it, but it's a soft, like a chakra rock, which allows me to really just breathe and stay in the moment and be able to show up and ground my own energy. That way I feel good. I come from the heart and not my head. So small techniques like that, which are just grounding and breathing, I have found helpful. And sometimes I have to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up, do it. So
wow, that's massive. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up, do it. So I'm saying that to everybody who is listening, who is watching, wherever. So sometimes just count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and get up. And somehow, like I just do tell people jokingly that, you could just say to someone that remember to breathe. That talks about conscious breathing. The awareness you breathe. Somehow there is a connection between your breath, your mind, and your body. So you need to learn how to make use of those important connections. Wow. Just
Yeah,
before we
super
let you
calming.
go, Coach Kat, I know. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know we're going to see in a couple of hours from now on the kindness games. So we got to let you go very soon.
We can talk for days about this. You know that.
Definitely, I know that. So if our listening audience and people who are watching want to connect with you, your website, and then what you do, and maybe your social media handles.
Sure. Our website is www.farisscoachingandconsulting.com. It's Fariss. I know there's lots of ways to spell it. You can find me on LinkedIn. It's Kathleen Bills Fariss. I'd love to connect with you on LinkedIn. And your other question was around.
Okay, maybe what you do basically. So what people should look out for.
I'm always so excited to talk about mental health and how to be a leader. Yeah. So our family business, we do executive coaching and consulting, and we come alongside leaders to help them elevate to the next level or get unstuck and be able to then improve their internal teams, their own leadership, to be able to then lead effectively. So short version.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I mean, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show, Dr. Coach Kat. It's so wonderful having you. I really appreciate your time and your wealth of knowledge that you have used to bless a whole lot of people on the show today. Thank you so much. And for everybody who is listening, like I do say that without you, there is no us. So thank you also for sticking around to MZ Radio London and AP Radio UK, and advise that you keep doing that because we have wonderful programs that will lift your soul. Ladies and gentlemen, like I normally say, before you know it, time is up. But the consolation is before a blink now, it's another Friday, and we'll be back with another edition of the MHAASP show. Thanks to my producers, Mr. Soji Amoni on MZ Radio London, O'Fields on AP Radio UK. I appreciate you so much. Till next week that we see, like I do say, stay mentally healthy. I'll leave you with the song of O'Fields, and this one is titled Anywhere. Bye.
Yeah, O'Fields. All 3 beats. I can't live without you. I can't do without you. Bí mo ṣe ń lọ máa bá mi lọ. Bí mo ṣe ń lọ máa bá mi lọ. Bí mo ṣe ń lọ máa bá mi lọ. Bí mo ṣe ń lọ máa. Anywhere I go, 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 please follow me, go. Hey. Anywhere I go, 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 don't leave me alone, my love. Anywhere I go, 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 please follow me, go. Hey. Anywhere I go, 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 don't leave me alone, my love. Anywhere I go, 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 please follow me, go. Hey. Anywhere I go, 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 don't leave me alone, my love. Anywhere I go, mama pariwo, I let the world know you. Mama like go because you came and set me free. I'm free indeed. On solid rock, that's where I'm standing. If no beef for your word in my life, what would I've been saying right now? Now, no more struggling, no more hustling, no more wrestling, new mentality. I can't live without you. Oh, hey. I can't do without you. Yeah, I cannot breathe without you, Lord. Oh, hey. I can't go without your word. Hey. Anywhere I go, 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 please follow.